Let's keep it a stack.
No, I love a lot of King Lion's takes. But he also gave Madam Web. He also gave Madam Web an 8 out of 10, and people consider that one of the worst thing Marvel's ever created. I'm just keeping it a stack.
I'm a King Lion apologist. I ain't going.
Yeah, no, I'm a King Lion apologist too. But he also gave Madam Web like an 8 out of 10, and we consider that one of the worst things, one of the worst movies ever made. And he gave it like an 8 out of 10. Are you there?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Because I have a question before I go. Is there a term for something that like the premise of it is really good, or is like a really good premise, but like the execution and the delivery ruin it? Is there like a writing term for that or something?
Bad writing.
Oh,
okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
You gotta be a jerk, like you knew what he was looking for.
That is fine. That's all. I just didn't know there was like an official term.
I'm actually being so serious. Like that's because
so I watch. So if you're a Star Wars fan, like our fellow friend Blake, who's been on this show a few times.
Try to warn
you might have been looking forward to Acolyte, which is supposed to be like the first Sith story that they made. I'm big on Star Wars. I'm big on the Sith. Of course, I love villains and stuff like that. I'm really big on Sith lore and everything like that. So I know a lot about Star Wars. I also know a lot about writing. I also know a lot about just good media. Acolyte is one of the biggest disgraces I've ever seen. I know King Lion raved about it, even though the rest of the world's been hating on it.
You on fraud watch, bro. Let's keep it a stack.
No, I love a lot of King Lion's takes. But he also gave Madam Web. He also gave Madam Web an 8 out of 10, and people consider that one of the worst thing Marvel's ever created. I'm just keeping it a stack.
I'm a King Lion apologist. I ain't going for
I'm a King Lion apologist too. But he also gave Madam Web like an 8 out of 10, and we consider that one of the worst things, one of the worst movies ever made. And he gave it like an 8 out of 10.
I'm not saying that's
how
not
King Lion get in this.
You see them tired? They trying to get King Lion packed up, man.
No, I love King Lion. I'll protect him. I'll protect him forever. I got banned from certain accounts for protecting him.
Me too. I got blocked over King Lion, but that's
I got blocked. I was like, wait, did this girl block me? It's like whatever. But Acolyte. How do I even begin? First off, Leslie Highland, or however the hell you say your name, you're a disgrace to all directors, female, male, LGBTQ, straight, whatever. You're a disgrace. The fact that you have a job, but you are Harvey Weinstein's main assistant is suspect enough. That's suspect enough. Yeah, that's suspect enough. But the fact that you have the audacity to again shit on Star Wars fans. To like make fun of them and say, George Lucas's idea of Star Wars doesn't have to be everyone's ideas. Ty, if someone said, One Piece doesn't have to be from Oda's mind, it can be from all our minds. Does that make sense? Is that still One Piece, or is that bullshit?
Hey man, some people are arrogant.
Some people are arrogant. So you say that, cool. You help us bring up this new trilogy. We all know that was not it. This latest trilogy from this recent decade was not it. Acolyte is about this girl who wants to get like a revenge on some Jedi masters or whatever. Cool, calm, whatever. The first few scenes, the fighting scene, the choreography, great. Because I'm not just gonna just clown on it. Because Star Wars always has great points. So it comes to like the costumes and like the backgrounds, also that's always gonna be beautiful. Choreography was beautiful. The acting was a 1 out of 10, maybe a 0.5 out of 10. And these are some great actors. You have the guy from Squid Games, you have the girl from the Hunger Games who played Rue. So it's like you have some great people. The acting was horrible. On top of that, the story doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm only judging it from the first episode or two. The story didn't make a lot of sense. A lot of it was plot convenience. Girl kills a Jedi by like faking like she's about to kill somebody else. Cool, whatever. The girl that looks like her, who ends up being her twin. How we know that she has a twin or whatever? That's a different story. But she gets arrested. She's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Her former because apparently she was a former Padawan. The guy's new Padawan's like, yo, like how could like this person that hasn't been like that's been only a Padawan kill a Jedi Master? He's like, I have no idea. And then he talks about like how like they grew up, yada yada, and how like he used to like be in charge of her village, like with these other masters, and how she had a twin that like burned down their whole village or that burned down their home and killed her whole family, but he saw her die. That's cool. And I was low-key just rocking with it for a while. I was just like, all right, whatever. So we know the audience knows it's probably the evil twin. He doesn't know that. But this happened like 13 years ago. Like 13, 15 years ago, whatever. It happened like over a decade ago. The Padawan asks, is there any way it could be the twin? He immediately says, no, I watched her die. There's no way that she died. No way at all. Whatever. Cool. How? And then next thing you know, the girl has like a dream or whatever because like she gets into a plane crash. She has a dream where like her sister as a child is talking to her saying that like she's alive. How? Whatever. Moving on. They land immediately trying to find her. Somehow, without any force powers or whatever, he automatically knows that she's not there and that she like ran over to a cave. Immediately runs over and they find her in like 5 minutes while she's like going through these tunnels in a cave. They immediately find her. She turns around. She says, I didn't do it. It was my twin. He immediately says, I believe you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense at all? You just said, I watched her twin sister die 13 years ago. You don't even have time to like literally like in their time, maybe 10 minutes later, you find the person that you haven't seen in 6 years, and they say that their twin from over a decade ago that you watched die as a child killed a Jedi Master. And you just say, after you just said that there's no way it's possible that she was alive, you're like, I believe you. Moving on to episode 2. Moving on to episode 2, because it gets worse, Random. I didn't even tell you about this, Random. No, it gets worse. I'm going to get this off, because it gets worse. You know how like they talked in the dream or whatever, how they communicated somehow telepathically because maybe twin force bullshit? The assassin chick finds the master guy, starts attacking him. He tries to talk her down, whatever. It doesn't work, and he's just like, oh, your sister's here too. She says, my sister is dead. So how the fuck did they talk telepathically? So she's all like, oh, my sister is dead. We still don't know why she's trying to kill all these people. It makes no sense. Because, like, Loki, the only one that should be mad is the twin. But they both think each other is dead, but somehow they're talking telepathically. In, like, a span of a decade, even though they haven't talked to each other in a decade, because that makes sense. Then they run into each other. They're like, how the fuck are you alive? How the fuck are you alive? And then that's the end of the episode. So it's like the premise of two twins, one's good, one's bad. That's a good premise. Your delivery throughout each episode, the acting, the plot convenience, the changing of views. It's not there. It's not there. If Random died in front of you 10 years ago, and then someone's around, and I say like, oh, is it possible that like Random killed him? And you're saying there's no way, and then 5 minutes later I said it was Random. Would you just say, I believe you? Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Random?
I'm supernatural, bro. Lani.
I was having hope for Acolyte too, because obviously I like Star Wars as well. So
Lani and Riddell, the minute we saw in the preview for it, or when they were promoting and they said this is about to be the gayest Star Wars ever, it was cooked. It was cooked.
But I have no problem with you making things LGBTQ.
No. This is not what I'm saying. When you watch that promotional interview that they did, when the actor doesn't know something basic about what Anakin did, and I'm not saying you got to.
Anakin Skywalker blew up the Death Star. That's who you have acting in your. You said Anakin Skywalker blew up the Death Star.
It doesn't like the lack of disrespect that they continually show to Star Wars. Not in the games, right? Not in the games. By the way, Outlaws, I'm kind of excited for it. You know, but when I said this the last time we talked about Star Wars, and the last thing you guys said, well, they got the Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Now the TV product is bad too, because the Mandalorian got bad. So
I haven't
guys,
seen the recent season, so
the
I can't
recent
speak on
season,
that.
the recent season, it was so bad. They sent the dude who is the Mandalorian. They said because he kept taking his helmet off while they were filming. They sent him home and said we could just kind of do this with somebody else. Like Star Wars is increasingly becoming a bad product, and you guys just need to accept that.
I'll tell you why, random. Because the creator of Game of Thrones, he said it best. He said that these new, because we also seen it with The Witcher and like the mess with The Witcher. He said these screenwriters, these directors, they have like a sense of arrogance where it's like they want to take your story and make it their own, and they don't respect the actual source material. So they just take the idea of what you have and they make it their own without actually respecting what you put in and what you established. And that's exactly what they're doing with Star Wars. But the thing is, if you don't respect the source material, at least make it good. At least make it watchable. Don't make it bullshit.
With Star Wars, there are certain events that happen that affect everything, and you can't just shirk that. They want the Old Republic to be made into a show, movie, whatever, and they're going to ruin that too. Guys, Star Wars, I'll say it, and I know it sounds crazy when I say it. Star Wars is overrated now. It's overrated because they keep fumbling it. It's not, I'm not sitting here saying, obviously, I'm not a screenwriter, I'm not a director. It's really should not be this hard to make continually bad products. We don't talk about the sequel trilogy anymore because it was bad. We don't talk about that anymore. And
Well,
things
I
keep
do
coming
agree
out.
with Bobby. I feel like I don't think you can say it's overrated because most people shit on Star Wars nowadays. So I don't even really say you can say it's
Also, why is this
overrated.
lady in charge of anything with Star Wars?
But
She
people
said that she
relying,
found a romantic. She loved the romantic connection between the sisters and Frozen.
that doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
You're in charge of Star Wars. What are we doing?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there saying, you're looking at Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm like, why do you? First of all, Disney, why are you letting this woman pick anything for Star
There's
Wars?
so many better. If you want a female director, I can name you like 20 that could do a way better job than her.
And making a Star Wars movie is something that I feel like a lot of people would be very interested in making. Okay, but you just keep they're gonna fumble Cal at some point if they make it into a show. If it stays in the game, we Gucci. But it's just being fumbled all the time. And Lani, when we talked about it before you started, I was like, don't do this to yourself, Lani, because you know they're gonna ruin it, and they did. And now here we are again talking about
The
this.
thing is, I get that Disney wants the thing with Star Wars is that it always had inclusivity. So trying to force extra inclusivity into it doesn't make sense. But the thing is, you can have you can include different people in different aspects of life into any story and it still be good. But with the moment that you decide to ruin the story or take focus away from the story to highlight those aspects, to acknowledge certain people from different aspects of life, that's when you get bad media, because it no longer becomes about the actual story, it becomes about representation. That is what's bad. That's when something doesn't become natural. That's when you make it a fad. You're making Star Wars a fad piece. You're not making it natural. You don't care about inclusivity. You care about the fad aspect of it, and that's what's so disrespectful. So I don't care what she represents. She's disrespecting the LGBTQ to me. She's disrespecting minorities to me. She's respecting all of that with her actions. As much as she praises and much as she praises about it and saying that, oh, she's making that this is supposed to make white people cry and stuff like that.
What does that have to do with Star Wars?
Exactly. What does that have to do with Star Wars? You're making this about you. You're not making this about the product. And that's what's so disgusting about
Lani,
this.
Nobody cares that Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star because he was white. It's about destiny. If Luke Skywalker was black, it doesn't change the story. You don't need to do. You just look. Contrary to popular belief about Star Wars, to me, I want it to be good because it can be, but you keep fucking it up. So I don't know what to tell you, Lani. The next Star Wars show, don't watch it because what confidence do you have other than, well, it was great when I started watching it? Now you're just using nostalgia to keep watching Star Wars, and it continues to be bad.
Bobby, I don't care where it's from. I don't care where it's from. I don't
Hey
care.
man, we just need some good products. El monopolies, you know what I'm saying? They getting too arrogant, you know what I'm saying?
Contrary
And
popular
just
belief, man, you
put out
She
can
some
said
good.
C3PO was gay. What does that even mean?
What the fuck is
It's
that?
a
What does that have to do with anything? I need the dude
Oh
to
my
walk over with
gosh.
R2D2 and give the damn Death Star plans. Not
What
what is
does
that?
mean?
What is that? Why does that matter? Why does that
Yeah,
matter?
I
Crash
mean,
it out,
yeah,
yo. Crash it out.
the
I'm
Star
crashing
Wars
out.
movies,
They're ruining Star Wars, bro.
the Star Wars, at the very least, the new trilogy, and even mostly the new trilogy. There's really not that many relationships. There
This
was just
lady that was
Anakin and
assistant to a
Padme.
pedo predator is in charge of Star Wars. That's who the executive or top or personal assistant to one of the biggest predators in Hollywood is in charge of Star Wars. Why does that? How does that even make sense, Disney? How does that even make sense?
You know the right
Man, Doom clears, man. I just go read Doom, man. Doom clears.
The fact
Oh
that
my
the fact that
God.
J-Rob can
I
say
haven't
that,
watched
and
it,
right
man.
now all the Star Wars fans can't say shit back.
I got the books behind me. I'm reading the mugs. Doom better. Doom
You
better.
let this happen, Disney. You let this
I ain't gonna
happen.
lie, bro. Once I found out Doom came out ahead of the time before Star Wars, I'm starting to realize like
You let this
The creator
happen.
of Dune,
They
had
were
a
still
statement asking if he should sue, but that was back in the 70s. He's like, "Can I sue?"
I'm not gonna lie. There is a lot of things. If you read Dune, because Dune came out before Star Wars, if you read these books now, like they
A
took
lot of
shit.
people were
A lot of
saying
shit.
Star Wars copied Harry Potter too. So,
Harry Potter,
or the other way around. Harry Potter
other way
copied
around.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Harry
No,
Potter.
but-
If you look at the brass tacks, Harry Potter is just like Magic Star Wars.
No, but Dune and Star Wars. So Anakin's from Tatooine. Dune, where does it take place? A sand place.
Yeah,
A child of destiny that was conceived through unconventional means that have supernatural abilities. Paul Atreides, Anakin Skywalker. The females that are in charge of everything in the backgrounds, they're renamed in Star Wars as something else.
Yeah, but he's talking about the Bene Gesserits. Yep.
Yeah, the voice, the Force. So it's like that's why the creator's like, "Can I sue?" He said this back in like the early 70s. He was like, "Can I sue George Lucas for this?"
Bobby,
It's a story. It's a story archetype that Star Wars and Harry Potter both follow. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Bobby, that's great that you got all these shows, but you should have way more than that.
If they mess up the Old Republic, y'all gonna have to sedate me.
Guess
I'm
what?
so serious.
Most
y'all
people
will
are
have
not
to
gonna
sedate me.
Most people are not gonna play the
Monopolies.
games. Most people are not gonna play the games. Okay, they're not, and even the games at some back when Battlefront 2 came out, people rebelled. Lani, you was there. You was there when Battlefront 2 came out, and EA did their best to ruin it before they finally learned. Like,
let this lady be in charge of Old Republic.
The game should not be carrying this franchise.
Disney, I'm warning you right now. Let this lady be in charge of the Old Republic. You better hire your best warrior. You better hire your best warrior, because I'm coming for y'all.
Now, but Star Wars did have some good games, though. I ain't going.
No, J-Rob, let's keep it a stack.
Yeah,
They got
Force Unleashed.
They got some peak games. The Old Republic, the Knights of the Old Republic, both games are great.
Force Unleashed, classic.
But J-Rob, the game should not be
I played that
carrying
on the Wii. That shit was heat, bro.
J-Rob, the game should not be carrying this franchise. Every time they make a movie, millions of people are going to go see it, and millions of people are going to come back and be hot. Be hot at what the hell they keep making.
Yeah, but the thing is, bro, is like, I feel like we are at this time where like people don't really want like shit to be too woke. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like that should really piss off white people more than piss off anybody else for real. Like, if we want to be,
and I don't mind it as long as it's good.
We want to be completely transparent, really be like heterosexual white guys who are really sick about a lot of this shit. Like, honestly, if we're in a world where like, you know, they like, bro, like, I just don't understand why we be tripping about, and I'm not talking about, because I haven't watched the Acolyte, so I don't have an opinion on that. But what I'm saying is, like, we live in this world where like we judge all these pieces of content and like pieces of media, but like, bro, everybody we could get around the idea that they find in space and fighting with swords and doing, you know, the Force, but then we can't get around the part that she like girls, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think we be tripping a little bit sometimes.
I'll say, Gerald, I was vibing with the show, and then they just started pulling like this plot, like the whole thing was like,
because Velma,
this is bad writing. This is bad writing.
Velma was dog
Velma,
shit.
because then I could go like I definitely understand both sides. Because then I could go look at Velma and Velma's just not very good. Like it has nothing to do with wokeness or
because they haven't even shown anything with the relationships or anything like that in the first 2 episodes. So there's nothing like that. But the fact that you're like, oh, this person is for sure dead. There's no way you're telling me this person's alive. And then literally like 10, 15 minutes of your time, the person that you thought just murdered one of your friends says, oh, it was my dead twin that you saw over a decade ago. And you're like, yeah, I believe you. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think I only care about storytelling. So if you're trying to push an agenda in my face, I don't care what it is. I'm gonna say that shit's ass. Like,
Velma and about the story. I don't really care about orientation or that other shit.
I agree.
Yeah,
Velma and Star Wars both share this thing right now, right? You're trying to shove it in our face. The problem, and then you're not following the already established source material. Velma is legitimately a travesty to television. And then you knew how it was cooked because the girl who was what's her name from The Office started attacking fans saying that they were racist. No, you turned Fred into a guy who couldn't even eat his own cereal without help, and you made him the stereotypical white. Because that's not what Fred was. The leader, the dude who drove the mystery machine, and he was busting down Daphne and pulling the mask off the guy at the end of the thing. That's what Fred was doing. What else?
But we in the time right now with heterosexual white guy, the main character. Oh no!
Did you see what they did to Scrappy Doo in the second season?
No, I'm not watching that shit.
No, I didn't watch it either. I read like because there's by the way, there's a reason why you didn't even know season 2 was airing until it was over.
Listen, bro,
Velma.
There's some forms of TV that I just can't get down with. I can't get down with Velma. That Good Times remake they put on Netflix is one of the most racist shits I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly.
And the fact that it's still on Netflix and
people are trying to people in it are trying to defend it.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It is some of the most racist, fake woke, whatever propaganda nonsense. It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, but
that movie that came out, that shit got they took that shit off theaters immediately. That magical black fucking stupid movie. Yeah, that shit was.
What Bobby said was perfect. The pushing of agenda can be fine if the story and its logic is the priority.
Because nobody was vibing with that shit. Like someone said that was a good idea. Hey,
that shit was.
Rebel Moon was better than this bullshit. Rebel Moon was ass.
That Magical Society of Secret Negroes is a travesty too. This is why I say like I don't really understand y'all how these like academics, filmmakers, all these people who are supposed to be like smart as fuck. Like, how did you go into a writer's room? How did you go into a writer's room and say, "Yeah, I got a crazy fucking idea. Let's come up with a movie about magicians and wizards who are powerful and got all these magical abilities." But here's the best part. Their goal is to make sure white people are comfortable in the world. Because if they're not comfortable, they're going to crash out. What? What? You telling me these people with magical powers, they making sure white people are comfortable instead of teaching other niggas how to use the power? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm lost. One of the travesty.
It was so bad that. Sorry, I'll say this real quick. It was so bad that if you started flipping races, Fox News will be leading its fucking thing with it. If you were flipping races, just flip the races.
Terrible execution.
That shit is stupid. That's why, I'm a big horror movie fan. So lock in horror movie fans out here. We be watching that good stuff. You feel me?
Shout out to the horror films. They not making like they used to no more with that. We need to get back to like the real murderers. Like Bob always on this demon ghost. We gotta get back to.
I actually like that better because I personally can't buy the serial killer stuff because like I'm like. Ain't no way a serial killer gonna come up and I don't got a gun in my hand and taking this dude out.
Serial killers do that every day. Liddell. They do that every day.
I can take out Scream, bro. I can take out Scream, bro.
Anybody can take out Scream. Scream is such a bad. Ghostface is such a bad villain. It's low-key hilarious.
Bad villain. Riddell, I have the greatest evidence of a ghostly existence on the face of the earth. I literally hold the best evidence ever. Nobody afraid of no ghosts. But that murderers.
Speak for yourself.
Bruh. Ghost. I seen one now, bro. Them shits just be around, bro. Live with it. There might be one passing through you, right?
Okay.
Listen, bro. I'll show you the video. Bro. You can see the video again, bro. Shits just be
I
around.
be on the Conjuring time in all that stuff.
But
I be
those
on there.
Chainsaw Massacre. Run for your
Bro,
life.
ain't no way.
White girl trips over. White girl trips
The
over.
black dude got to stop. The black dude got to stop and help her up. He gets killed.
He gets stabbed. Yeah, I want to see that.
I'm sorry. Just
You
make
want to
one
get some
movie where the
slashers,
black
bro.
dude look back and he say, "Yo, I'm sorry," and keeps going.
I have ghostly evidence. I have 4 million views worth of ghostly evidence, bro.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I'm sorry, yo. Me and Ghostface, yo, square up. Square up.
Yeah, I'm taking out Michael Myers, bro. I'm be honest. Didn't no way I'm losing a Ghostface.
Right,
and
You know Michael Myers can't die, right?
First of all,
Michael Myers, I ain't fighting. I'm just outrunning him.
You gonna keep coming back.
Michael Myers, Chucky. First of all, Chucky little ass don't die at all, bro. You can stab that nigga, he's still gonna come at you, bro. Like they have to melt that nigga to the ground for him to die, bro.
Bro, I'm not losing to a doll, bro. Come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's gonna slice your Achilles. It's gonna slice your Achilles, or they'll leave.
One question, Odell. So when you're
not square up, bro. If
you're in
you
Saw
getting
57,
overpowered by a doll, then I don't know.
When Chucky slices your Achilles and you can't walk,
no, that's not getting overpowered. That's using sneak tactics. That's different.
it's a doll. What do you think it's gonna do?
That's not straight up. Straight up. Come on,
bro. Think he gonna get a fair one with a
serious Chucky. That's like fighting a toddler. You think a toddler's just gonna?
Bro, gonna sneak up on
kick that toddler, kick that Chucky too, man. But there's a new horror movie that's coming out, the one where they're like in the woods and then there's like these monsters that got them trapped.
Always in the woods. Just leave,
bruh. Hey,
they were driving. So apparently they were driving, and then the monsters tricked them, and now they're in the woods, man.
You know what I did like? I like the idea that them animatronics should be possessed though, like Chuck E. Cheese and shit.
What's the one? What's that?
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think them shits really do be possessed, bro. Why not? Why can't they be?
Why can't they? I don't know, man.